There we go. I had the wrong stream key set up, so I had to resolve that before we went live. We've got a couple. We've got a couple scenes set up already. And we'll flesh these out a little bit more and we'll probably talk about them as we're going here. Audio sounds good? Great, great. I gotta make sure I don't have all the scenes set up, so this, right now I have my mic set up off of camera 1, and we're doing some nested scenes, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But you can see that if you might not be able to see, but if I click to a different, yep, so this is my other display. So my mic is still there, but if I go to one of the other ones, I think this one. You can see there's no mic there. So I gotta be a little bit careful, but so I'll go back here. So we're gonna start out. Calculator. I'm gonna start doing some math. And what we want to achieve is to be able to kind of do the guest stream thing. And we kind of have sort of this, you can see just to the right of my cursor, there's this open area on the right side. We'll probably put guest speakers there. And I'm probably going to make my video bigger as well. But first we sort of want to talk window sizes and aspect ratios. So how are you doing today, Marcus? Fun, gotta love the meetings. Yeah, so I did, I've been using OBS for a while, probably more than a decade on and off, but I haven't actually gone through and set up scenes in any deep manner. And I picked this up from Brent. Heck Brent is his Twitch. Heck Brent. I think he's in the party Cargi server. And the idea is that you make sort of low-level themes, and then you as like components, and then you use those components in your higher level theme or higher level scenes. Yeah, that was the first time I saw that. I'm like, oh, this is great. Why did I not think of that? But he's also done much more production than I have, and or a good chunk of my OBS use has been just recording. So our stream generally is going to be 1920 by 1080. But from there, we're going to want to cut it down into pieces. I'm going to imagine that most of our sources and things coming in are also going to be 1920 by 1080. So we can probably just do, so if we say like, if we put a video at half size, 1920 divided by 2 is 960. 1080 divided by 2 is 540. Let's make that a different color. So like this might be just a, if you bring in a video at half size, it would take up a quarter of the screen. But what we can do is we can say we want the video half size, but we're going to crop the left and the right off. So if we think that'll end up working out size-wise. So our width is 960. So if we do 960 divided by 3, that's 320. Yeah. So 320 would kind of give us a portrait. And that would let us do basically 2 portraits. Don't use Figma often, so I'm gonna have to remember how to do all this. Copy, paste. Here we go. And we're gonna make that green. So that would let us have that, and then we can kind of put a bar at the bottom, because now the aspect ratio on this is different. So we've got 320 pixels off. So 1920 minus 320. So we got 1600. We need to make that way bigger. Oh, text size. That isn't it? Oh, I guess it doesn't let me put in. Okay. Hey, Tross. Doritos trip. Yeah, Heckbrand puts out some good stuff. He definitely knows his OBS. Alright, so if we do half size on the video and then chop it a third off on the left and right, that is basically going to give us a portrait with 2 guests. And that leaves us with 1600 on the of screen real estate on the top, and isn't there like a dragon copy? And the height stays the same, so we still have 1080 this way. But we want to keep the same aspect ratio the same, so we need to do some more math. So we're going to do the cross multiply thing. And I'm going to do this just to keep track of it. So if we have a ratio of 1080 and the bottom is 1920, so the bottom one is the width, and we want to find x, we can do the cross multiply thing. So 1080 times 1600 divided by 1920. So 900. So we got 1080 total, but to keep the same aspect ratio the same for the 16, was it 16 by 9? That leaves us with 900. And bottom bar of 180, it looks like. Color blue, there we go. So our width is going to be 1600 and our height is going to be 180. So then if I did all the math right, this should leave us with 1600 by 900. Come on, there we go. All right. So if we do the ratio, an aspect ratio of 16:9, it's gonna be, oh yeah, you can see right there. Cut the zeros off. 900 tall, 1600 wide. I hope you all are appreciating my amazing Figma skills. Okay, so if we take that over here, so what I was saying before, we have these nested scenes. So we have this, I'm going to turn off the enabled preview so you don't get the, was it the black hole effect or whatever it's called? No interstellar today. And then so I can see it, I'm going to use the multi-view and put it on the side. So I've got the camera, and that's just going to be me. I did put the mic in there just to keep them grouped together. I may end up splitting out the mic, but I think it probably makes sense to keep it like that because the other sources, if we bring in guests, are also going to have mics in there. And right now I added 2 displays. Oh, I just realized I did the thing that I said I wasn't going to try not to do. So on the displays, I don't have the mic. So if you go back to this scene here, yep, it still has the mic. So I have 2 of them set up, and I just put them as little squares in the corner. So I've got this one, and then display 2 shows my other monitor right now. So I've got nothing on it, black. Put OBS Ninja up, or I guess they renamed it VDO Ninja up there, just so I can keep track of it. Okay. So now we want to, so we've got scenes in here. We've got our lower level themes that the camera, I think I'm gonna rename that with the camera. Come on. On with audio. And we've got 2 displays in here. So I can actually toggle them like this, and you can see them in the, I've got my second display in the corner right now, which I think we're going to take, oh, I got my, it's display 1, sorry, in the corner there. I think I'm actually going to take that out. So what we want to take this, it's already transformed because I sized it up already. So I could have something to kind of work off of. But we're going to resize it to fit basically this green square here. So what we want to do is we want to match our, make this just a little bit smaller. We want to get this size. So our height is going to be 540. And we wanted to keep the same aspect ratio. So 540, 320 times 3 is 960. All right. So you can see that's pretty big right now. Yeah, we're gonna have the interstellar thing. Oh well. So now what we can do is we can crop left. So we want it to be 320. So we can crop left and crop right, and that's basically gonna give us should this not, I feel like the scale is off. It should be not as wide, I don't think. Positional alignment, so 960, I think that's right. I don't want any crop on top and bottom. So now that should 320 by 540. Feel like we are missing something. Let's snap to the corner. Let's take the crops off just to confirm. I wonder if I got a wider camera. So if this would be, I'll go just to the main camera one. What is 1920 by 1080? So my size should, if I did full size, this would be 1920 by 1080. Yeah, oh. We do have a little bit on the bottom. Oh no, we don't. There we go, okay. So if I did half size, this should be 540 and 960. 960 divided by 3 is 320. So if you crop 320 on the left. I wonder if there's like scaling going on. Is it? It feels like there's scaling going on. So if I'm setting the size at a half size, I wonder if I need to do 640. Bet you that's what's happening. Yep, there we go. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So now I can throw that in the corner here. It's a little bit close, but I can move around a little bit in there. So now we can, our main area that we're going to be working with is the 1600 by 900. So we can set the display to be transform. $1600 by 900. And that we're not cropping it at all, so it's just going to be straight away. And that's going to be snapped on the top left. And then we'll probably put some sort of like title bar on the bottom down here. There we go. So, could probably just could reasonably throw the chat in that space above for when it's just me. I don't know. We'll think about that. So I think there's going to be, we're going to have a situation where we have one person in a display. So we can do something like that. So I think we're going to say rename. So that's a one-up with display. So we're going to add another scene here, and this is going to be camera 2. Let's turn on program mode so I don't. So when you click on the scenes, it switches the scenes. And you can do lock preview. This is not lock preview. All right, I think I need to turn on program mode. No, multi-view. Where did that go? Completely forgetting where I went. Stats. Tools. So locking locks the actual like pieces of it. And that's probably useful that we lock those so we don't forget to, or we don't accidentally move them. Oh, here we go. Studio mode, there we go. So now, I knew there was a button somewhere. I was just completely missing it. So now if I click, it's not actually gonna, what's shown on the left is what will happen when I click transition. But you're seeing what's on the right. So I can leave it on. Talk to you later, Travis. There we go. Okay. So now what's on the left is what we're previewing, and I'm not going to accidentally lose my audio again. So camera 1 with audio, camera 2. Camera 2 is going to have we're just going to put a color source in there right now. Camera color 2. And we're going to make that red. With audio. So now we got the one up. It's gonna end up having to be basically, but we'll have to figure out what to do with this empty space here. But we can copy this and say 2 up now. And then we're gonna end up putting the guest below. So we got display 2. And this needs to go here. And we want to add in scenes. So we're nesting scenes. And camera 1 with audio. All right. We're going to do the exact same thing here. So we want to do transform. Same deal. This ends up being 960, 540. 640 crops. Move it up temporarily so I can see it. I'm gonna lock these two. So that'll basically be our second camera. And when we pull that in, it would show up right there. Now, I think we're gonna add another set of scenes. I'm doing 3. We're gonna call it Chrome. Now this will be 1 up, 2 up. I'm gonna switch to 2 up for the moment, so you can see what that looks like full screen. And now we want to add, I'm gonna say, we're gonna call it just bottom bar for now. I'm gonna put a color source in there. Let's go ahead and grab some company colors, I think. What are they? color picker on here. Color picker. No. Actually, I think the Power Toys has one. That's probably a good time to pull it up. So Fancy Zones is what I'm using in the Power Toys, but they also have a color picker. Win Shift C. Okay. And I need the hex. So it pops up that handy thing. Select color. From that to we could try it to the reddish pink, I guess. Let's see what it looks like. Ah. Probably a bit much, but we'll roll with it. There, let's see what that looks like. So, do I want to do the bottom bar as like a separate Chrome? Another thing we can do is bring in the browser source. And then we could do some fun things with the browser. What properties do I have here? Yeah, I think we're gonna just make it directly. Close that for now. Okay, so we want a bottom bar of 1600 by 180. $1,600 by 180. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna end up going to end up changing this, but let's add it to this, and then I'm going to put the Chrome on every one of these. Add scene Chrome. Feels weird, but so now it's like there's a little bit of a gap, but I can live with that. So now we'll add it to this one as well. Scene, where are you? There you are. Okay. So this is sort of our 2-up situation. And we're also gonna have a I think we'll go back to this. So we got something to work with now. Yeah. Let's think about some other scenes. So this is probably the big one where we'll spend a bunch of our time, and we'll have different versions of this that can focus on different monitors. We'll have to think about that a little bit, but I think I can group these, right? Group. Yep. So this is one. Then we're gonna go this, and this is going to be our 1 up or our 2 up. Now for the 1 up, that's a pretty big gap to fill. And I'm unsure if we're going to want to actually add in the chat. So, So I think what I'm going to do, well, I want to notate this so I don't forget about it. So these are the third crop. So if we have 3 people, I think we probably want to stack them on the right side there. So what we can do is sort of similar math again. And go ahead and copy this because pieces of it are going to stay the same. And this is going to be our 3 up. I think that's all we're going to stick with right now. But that means that these then need to become a third the size. So what we could either do is with me sitting in frame right now, we could potentially just bottom crop some of that off. But that's also relying on the person's video being reasonably centered. So what would be the best thing here? Because they're going to end up looking pretty square. Well, let's get the size and see what it looks like first, I guess. So I think we like the 320. So we might end up switching to quarter crops. So what we can do is what we'll say, a normal size is 1080. So if we divide that by 3, we're going to have 360. So 360. 360. Let's ungroup that. Come on, snap. And make that a different color. Going with purple. Okay, so functionally it's 320 by 360. So we need to get to that somehow. So we've already reduced size by a third. To a third. So that does make it more square. So I think we're gonna have to do Yeah. So we're gonna do some more math again. See if I can just write it all in here this time. Need like Excel for this. So if we got 1080 is the height divided by 1920, that ratio should equal out to the same ratio of, we want our height to be 360. 360, and our width is unknown. So if we do the cross multiplication again, we can do 360 times 1920 divided by 1080. So that comes out to 640. So that's going to be the size. So from 640, we need to get down to 320. So 640, so we end up getting 360 wide by, nope, height by 640 width. And our actual frame is only going to be 320. So we need to chop off, if we do 640 minus 320, we need to chop off 320 in total. So that means we chop off 160 on each side. But mind you, the way it does the crops, it is using the, okay, let's make that auto. Isn't there an auto? That's gonna bother me. There we go. So to get that to work, our 640 needs to be based on the full size. So we have, so 320 divided by 640. So that is a quarter crop. So 160 divided by 640. Yep. So to get this shape, we're cropping off a quarter of the left side and a quarter of the right side, and that leaves us with basically 50% in the middle. So if we have a full 1920 wide screen, that translates to 480 pixel crop. Let's bring OBS back. Here we go. Okay, so we've got 1 up, 2 up. So we're gonna do a 3 up. And I think what we're gonna do here, so I have them just noted as display 1. I think I'm gonna rename it. It's not often that we're gonna be worrying about multiple displays or anything. We're just gonna say with display. And we can always get fancier too. Display with side. We'll have to decide if we actually want a second display on here of the personal, like my personal display. I imagine the answer is probably going to be no, but we might bring in a guest stream, in which case we'll want their display instead. And we could potentially just toggle it in this scene. That might be the easiest way to do it. We'll have to think about that, but Yeah, because I could just add a display that includes both of those. We'll think about that. So 3 up. We need another camera with audio. And we're gonna make this. So we got 1, we got 2. We're going to. We don't want it to match color source. Camera color. And I did purple. Not gonna be exactly the same, but it'll be close. Okay, so now we got a camera 3. So now to our 3 up. So based on our sizes, we need to do need to unlock these. Actually, let's go back. Lock these before I forget. We want to keep the display the same, keep the chrome the same. All right, so this is gonna be. We can snap the position. So our size is gonna be 640 wide by 360 high. No. Yep, because it's got the crop in there already. Yep. Okay. All right. Yep, we're good. And our crop is going to be 480 and 480. There we go. How's that look? So now that we have that set, we can do copy transform and paste transform. And then we're going to add in the last scene. And paste transform. Even though you can't see it, it's happening. Okay. So there we go, there we go, there we go. I think I'm actually going to flip these around too. So I'm going to say, I gotta be careful and stay in frame a little bit, or turn my camera. I think I naturally sit just a little bit. So I need to go, I turn it just a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put the camera on the bottom. I'll have to figure out what we put on the top, because we got all this extra space. I sort of like the frameless, but we might end up putting just like a border or something there. Unlock these, move up. So that way the Gusta is going to be on the top. There we go. All right. So we kind of got the we we kind of got this 3-up thing going on. We order these. So I could put a second monitor. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense to do the second monitor thing. I think we'll end up having a profile, but I'm going to remove that one for right now. I think these are all scenes that are just going to go away. Programming is just a... Oh, it's just that first monitor. Remove. Chrome. What if you could, like, set those to not be clickable? That would be nice. So we've got the move transition on. Okay, so I was looking at the transitions. You can do screenshot, nice. So there's transition overrides, but there's also see if I can make this real big here. So there's transitions here, show and hide, and that's when that specific scene comes into play. So if you're showing and hiding it, but that's not terribly applicable. So I mean, really what we want is this move. Okay. That's why. Okay, so if I hit transition now, yep, it's gonna do the move. Yep. Okay, yep. So I'm on 1-up, we go to 2-up. They kind of just shift into play. And we want them to... I might need to do like multiple, like a move left and move right or something. This is fine for right now. So what I was looking at when I was clicking them, it's not actually doing the transition because we're just previewing the scene. So it's not actually going to do the transition until I click it. Which kind of means I think we want to make sure that the Chrome's on top. Display, and then the cameras are gonna come in and out. I think we're starting to get close to quitting time, so. So put the Chrome on top, and I think I'm gonna end up switching that display out. So now it'll be, if we make a transition, I'll kind of just slide in like that. So let's do everybody's talking. We'll do a 1-up. So 1-up meaning just the primary person talking. And with that, we're going to say add a scene, 1-up profile. And that is going to have just camera with audio. And we are going to I think we're just gonna shrink it just a little bit. So we'll go down to 2/3 size. So we'll say 1920 by 2 divided by 3. And 1080 times 2 divided by 3. 120. And we can set that in the center. Center. And I think we're just going to put a gradient right behind that. Right? Is that what we want? We could get fancier with other Chrome and whatnot. And some of this is going to come into browser sources. So what we can do here is we can say copy, and we'll paste. Duplicate. Delete. Yes. Down. Rename. Gradient. Full. This is going to be a 1920 by 1080. I think that looks pretty nice. So let's go back. So I think you can do, in these, it probably makes sense to do a little bit of adjusting just so the corners aren't as harsh, so round off the corners. I can't remember if we can do it directly in here. I think we might need to use a mask. Work. It's not that. It seems like that is the case. Oh, they do have a scaling in here. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so I think we have to do a mask, so we'll punt on that for right now. So we'll do one up. Let's duplicate. I think we'll get all these profiles, and then we're gonna get to like a BRB, and then a closing out, or thanks for coming to the stream. So when we have two people, we want to do, we'll assume it's going to be a half crop. I can never remember transformers. Transform. So 1080 divided by 2 by 40. 1920 divided by 2 is 960. So we can set center vertically. Right. We want to add in camera 2. This is our 2 up. Copy the transform. Paste the transform. Okay, so this is where we start running into, we can't just do half size, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of crop. So what we can do is we'll say, we're gonna do a quarter crop. And that probably is gonna be enough. So if we say 1920 divided by 4, it's 480. Yeah, and even that's still too much. So we can do an eighth. That'll probably be better. 240. Okay, so now, yes, so center to screen is gonna combine them, which is not what we want. Whoop. Gradient, you are going to stay there. And we don't have any like snapping, so we're gonna have to do like positional stuff. So right now it is position is 600. So I'm not sure if that's okay. So 0 is all the way left, and it is 960 minus 240 times 2. So it's 480 wide. So 480 times 480. So our total width between the two is 960. So we need to divide 960 by 3. So 320. And they said math and geometry was not going to be helpful. So now we have a gap of 320 and we want a gap of 320 on the right side. And we want a gap of 320 in between, assuming I did my math right. So 60 divided by 2, so 480 plus 320 times 2. 1120. So it must be to the middle. What? Transform. No, it must be to the edge. Position 320. So if I do 19, okay, so it is the left edge. The 1920 would put it off the screen. So if we've got oh, it's not a 240 crop. Because it's a 240, so 960. So this is confusing. The size, so it's a half size, but then the crop is based on the original. So we did an 1/8 crop, which means it's 240 left and 240 right, which means it's 240 total over scaled one. There we scaled half. So 960 minus 240. So 720 is how wide they are. So 720 times 2, 1920 minus that. So we have 480 to work with. So 160 should be our position. So 160. Times 2 plus 960. 1280 should be the other one. Okay, I think we got this. We do not. Right? 960. 960 times 2. Oh. Oh, minus the crop. All right, we're gonna have to draw this out. These scaled numbers and not scaled numbers are starting to mess with my head. Okay, so we got that. These numbers aren't really relevant anymore. Oh, yeah, let's put it over here. I'm working off on the side. So here we've got and we want this to be, wait, where did my, here we go. So half size is going to be 1920 divided by 2. 960. 540. But we're cropping, and we're doing an 1/8 crop, so 960 times 0.75, 720. So it's 720 wide. And we've got 2 of them. We're gonna make this one green. Okay. So 720 and 720. So we have 1440. So 1920 minus 1440. So we have 480 pixels to play with. And that needs to be divided by 3. So we have 160 for each gap. 160 pixel gap. Now this is kind of weird. What I can do is this. And I'm gonna do, just to get it to look nice here, 258 plus 160. So since it's all scaled, we should be able to just say negative 98. Because the coordinate system is the same. Oh, need to sit straight in my chair. Bad habits. So we got that one right. So 160 plus 720 plus 160. So this should be sitting at 1040 from the left. So if I put it all the way here, so this is 782. So positionally then, this becomes 1040 from left. So now if we go back to this, we should be able to go into here and add it to transform. And 1040 is the magic number. There we go. Okay. 2 up. So now for the 3 up, we could do the same size. We could do the same size, but no, yeah, it's gonna be real tight. I mean, we could do it. So right now we're at half size. So we could probably do 3rd size. And that wouldn't be terrible. The alternative is we can do 3rd size and then do it vertical, which would let us make it effectively full screen. I think I kind of like that. So we got 1 up, we got 2 up. So here we can show the transition between them. So this is the 2 up. And then if we go to with the display, it's going to do that, which is kind of cool. So if we've got the 2-up profile that we're on, we'll have to play a little bit with where the transitions go. But that's pretty nifty to see it shift like that. So this is a built in now. I think you used to have to add it as a plugin. This might still be a plugin, I don't remember. Okay, so we've got this. Now what we can do is we could so we've got this size, the 3rd crop. We can make those half size quarter crops, and we might be able to put them side by side. So let's give that a shot. So these are half size right now because the height is 540, and a quarter crop would be 1920 divided by 2. And we want to take off 240 on each side. Yeah. So it comes out to be 480 then. I think that works. And we'll make some notes for future self. So these are half size 1/8 crop. And when I say 1/8 crop, that's we're cropping off 1/8 of the video on each side. So we lose a quarter of it total. So we're basically 75% width. So if you take 1920 divided by 2 and times by 0.75, that should give you 720. Hopefully I did that math right. Okay, we'll get this 3 up in here, and I think we're looking at time. Okay, so we have 3 480s. So 1920 minus 480 times 3. So we have 480 pixels to fill all 4 gaps. So we divide that by 4. So these gaps should be 120. So 2857 plus 120, 2977. Um, 2950, or that, plus 480 plus 120. We'll adjust all these squares first, and then I'm going to come back and then do the math. And this is going to be 4177. So this is 120. So 2857 is our baseline. $3,577 minus, I forgot it already, 2857. So this is 720 from the left. $41.77. This is $13.20 from the left. Okay. So let's go ahead and do those. So we got 1 up, we got 2 up, 3 up. We need to add in camera 3. Go to scenes. Camera 3. Down, down. So 480 by 540. We'll set them all to the same size, and then we're going to edit the transforms again. So height is 540. Width is 480. But that's after the crop. So, oh, because they're half size. So 1920 divided by 2 is 960. Oh, okay. And then our crop is, what did I say? 1/8 crop? I think we're going quarter crop. So half size, quarter crop. So 1920. Yeah, 480, because we did 1/8 on the other one. 480. There we go. So copy, transform, paste, transform. Edit this transform. Position is going to be 120. Position is going to be 720. And position is going to be 1320. Okay, there we go. We got a 3 up. So we can go from the 3 up profile to the 3 up display. We'll have to play around with the transitions maybe a little bit, but yeah. Let's see how we're doing. All right, let's do a BRB. I think I'm just going to remove this one right away. We don't need it for the moment. So we are going to do a BRB. Oop, you know what? I'm going to make that the same as profile. I'm going to duplicate BRB. And what we're going to do I think if I add a filter here, it's going to affect all of them. We'll try it. So if I go to, yeah, so it does affect all of them. So I'm adding it on the scene. Which affects that whole scene. So what I can do is say, I'm gonna add another scene and call this a blurred camera 1. I'm gonna have to go back too and make sure. Well, I've got these showing up on every one of them, so it should be fine. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. So this can actually be camera 1 with audio. So now when I remove this, I can add in my camera scene, the blurred one, and now I can apply a filter to this one, and it's only going to affect this one, I believe. What is going to be good? Probably that, I guess. So I want it to be this. So if I say copy this transform, we're going to go to BRB and paste this transform. There we go. So that'll be my BRB. We'll just throw some quick text on there. Be right back. We've got a company one. I'm gonna have to grab that though. I don't really. That's fine for now. Ooh. Why does it look terrible? Oh. This is probably going to be replaced, so we're just going to work with it. We'll make it really big and then we'll scale it down. There we go. Now I should be able to just walk away. Ta-da. Okay. I'm not going to be real specific with this right now. Excuse me. No, we're going to just set it in the middle, because that's going to bother me otherwise. Center. We're not going to use this one too much. Right. Okay. So we got cat incoming. Hi. Yeah. Okay. We could talk about audio and video and whatnot, but I think that might end up being another stream because, yeah, because we want to do some stuff with OBS Ninja and whatnot. So I've got all this in a scene collection, so I should be able to theoretically just distribute this if others in the company want to use it. We might need to remove the gradients and whatnot, but I imagine that these color sources are going to be, well, the gradients at least are going to be replaced with browser sources, because we can do a little bit more if we bring in HTML and CSS. But this is enough for now to get us going. And then I think the only other thing is then, what do we do with these spaces? We'll want to do something where we pull in text here. I think we can do this at the very least. Bring in a logo. Put this in the Chrome. Yeah, we're gonna have to redo this Chrome. I'm not particularly fond of it, but it'll be good for now. Image. Cat is being sassy. I don't know if you can see her. You might be able to hear her though. Hi. Yes. I do have bottom logos. That might actually not be terrible. I'll have to try those. So like, what does that look like if we put it? Yeah, we're gonna have to scale that down just a bit. Guess I don't really need to do that, do we? Do it on here. Oh, except it's still full screen. No, yeah, we're gonna do it here. We're just gonna. There. So we can do something with this space. I'll have to figure out what we can put up in the top. I suspect that it's much more likely that we're going to have 2 people. So we're going to be using these a lot. Really don't like those as scenes. Alright, you know what? I'm going to put that. Oop. Not the gradient. Why is it pulling in the gradient? Copy. Remove. We'll do that. And yeah, these have gradients in there, so we're gonna have to do special chrome for those. So what we're gonna do for right now is bring in another image. We want to center horizontally. So since we're always going to be in the middle of the screen, we can do this. Copy. Paste. Do a reference. And that way they're going to all stay the same for right now, because these are all references to. Paste reference. There we go. So I think if I move that up, it's going to move the other. No, it doesn't. Great. So yeah, that works. It'll be good for now. I think that's going to be it for today. Went a little bit longer than I was expecting to, but next time we can do some video ninja and see if I can get somebody else in here to help me out with that. So thanks for stopping by, everyone, and I will catch you next time. Bye.